first thing we want to make sure of is that we remove all the water that is inside any of the lines if you have any excess moisture. How much moisture that will build up inside your lines will vary from plant to plant depending on how hot, how cold your facility is. And that is due to drawing in the air. We bring it into the warm air up in here, comes back out, condensation, we're going to drop the water out of the air and go in here. It also will collect on the bottom, which needs to be checked periodically to make sure that we don't have a buildup of water. If water gets too high, it'll start drawing up into the soak line, clog that up, and you will not get proper flow, proper CO2 removal from the air, and that's what this main purpose of this is for, is to remove the CO2. With that, let's get started with changing it out. First thing is we have a quick disconnect here. You just press up on the orange portion. We're going to remove the line and remove the line from the other side. And we're going to try and remove as much of the water as possible just by kind of shaking it out both ends and try and get as much of this water out as we can to make sure that we don't have as much much water out of there as possible. And that looks pretty good. And then we'll just connect up one of the ends up to there, and we'll just let this hang. Your pump will continue to run at that time, and we'll remove the soap-line container. Now you want to be careful when you're removing this to make sure that you don't lose the gasket. There's a gasket that sits on the top portion that we don't want to lose. We want to make sure that we keep that in your hands. There's a number of places do have grates or drains right below that you could lose this in. If you lose this, you will never get a good seal, and we will lose the ability to scrub properly. So we're going to remove the inside portion, wipe off as much of the moisture again as possible. Wipe out the inside of this to get as much of the water out as we can. With that, I'm going to empty this out, and I will be back and we'll refill it with fresh soap-line. So now we have disposed of the old soap-line, and the proper amount is 250 grams, and that's if you're going to change it out every 3 months. I generally just eyeball it, fill it up approximately halfway. What we're looking for is it will change a deep purple as it gets used up from the bottom up. When it gets to about 50% used, that's when you're going to replace that, and that is generally sometimes 3 to 4 months, and I've seen it go as long as 5 or 6 months in some places. Really depends on how much carbon is in the air that needs to be scrubbed. With that, we make sure the gasket is on the top. Put the foam piece back in, make sure it's nice and loose. Drop that back in, and then we'll reconnect. Again, you don't have to be real strong to put this, you just want to have a nice tight seal. We reconnect our line, and you should hear the pump as it's running right now. If you have a good seal, the pump will reach pressure and it will shut off after it fills this back up with air, drawing in the air. The next thing we want to do is we're going to replace the inlet filter, the paper filter. Again, from the quick disconnect. Remove the paper filter. And then we're going to put on the new filter that comes in the kit. Again, it doesn't have to be super tight, you just want it snug. And that slides back in, and just press it in until it snaps in and holds good. The pump has shut off, meaning we have good seals everywhere. on there. So this portion of it is complete, and we are done with the PGM portion of the preventative maintenance.